Okay, so we're back again for another Blood Bowl game here. This will be actually my last of the regular season before the playoffs start. This is a Disturbing Puppet. And hopefully we'll get some people watching the game this time. So I'm continuing with my Chaos Dwarf team that I've been playing with. Take a quick look at my team and then my upcoming opponents here. This is the last regular game of the season. We're doing a round robin, second set of round robin, so every team plays each other team twice before going to the playoffs. Playoffs are really simple, just the top 4 teams are going in. So there'll be one playoff game and then one final. I possibly might do them both together next time I play, depending on timing and that kind of stuff. So this is my team, the Raging Bulls. And I do have a Bull Centaur that'll be out for this game, which is a little bit of a problem. This guy got hurt and lost a point of movement in the last game playing against Chaos. Kind of beat me up a little bit, but ended up pulling out ahead of them. So I have added block to both of my Chaos Dwarf Bull Centaurs. For the Hobgoblins, I've got one here that I added recently that has no additional skills. I had 4 that I started with that have all at least some level up. All of them have Sure Hands. Some of them have Dodge, 2 of them, I think, when I rolled doubles for leveling up. And then this is kind of my star Hobgoblin player, who also I gave kickoff return to after the end of the last game. I was kind of debating about kickoff return or if I wanted to do something more like fend. Kickoff return is generally pretty useful. Kick is pretty useful, so I went for that. For my Chaos Dwarf blockers, all of them have received at least 1 level up, so everyone has at least guard, which I find very useful with dwarf teams. Chaos Dwarves, they already have such good skills to start with that guard's really, really helpful for that front line. And then I have a couple guys who got some additional level up. One I gave Mighty Blow 2, and then one I gave Dauntless. So help me kind of deal with the stronger strength guys that might be on the front line. I might have to try to deal with and take down. I do have enough money that I could buy another Hobgoblin. I am down a guy for this game. It's not a terrible idea. I can't buy any more Chaos Dwarf blockers. I've maxed those out. I can't buy any more Bull Centaurs. I've maxed those out. A Minotaur is a lot of money for what they do. With the wild animal skill, I tend to have a lot of bad luck with that, so I haven't really been that tempted to go for that. Hobgoblins are fairly cheap. Yeah, maybe we'll grab one.
What past Stone X3 sponsoring the sport when you were playing, Bob?
Well, polishing cream manufacturer. No,
So at least have some additional guys.
no idea where these guys.
It does raise my team value a little bit higher, which means my opponents, because I'm quite a bit above them, are going to get even more money for dirty tricks, star players, that kind of stuff. So I did play, this is a Kislev Circus team. I played them once before. It was like the first or second game of the first set of round robin. At that point, they really didn't have any level ups, so it wasn't too difficult to deal with them. I'm not very familiar with them. They're one of the newer teams that have been added. So just kind of looking at stats, the only one who really has an increase here is increased armor stat. That's fine, not a big deal. Blitzers here, let's see what we got. Leap, very long legs. Jump up is definitely not fun to deal with. Diving tackle. Okay. And fend. We've got a blitzer with Dauntless. Catcher with Sneaky Git. That's relatively new. I haven't seen someone do that before. I think all these guys have leap and very long legs, I think is what they start with.
Never went onto the field without a pair of orchidas on my feet. They're the only ones who did ogre sizes.
Just kind of checking over the skills. There's a lot of variety here. Yeah, so he's going to be fairly mobile. He's only got 11 guys, so my tactic, of course, is beat him up. Playing Dwarf, Chaos Dwarf, Bruiser teams, Undead, that kind of stuff. That's sort of your approach to things. I'll just kind of jump in and start the match.
It's about to begin.
I can spend money for additional stuff. I'm not going to. That gives even more money for my opposing team to buy stuff. So he's taking the Halfling Master Shelf and Star Player. I'll have to take a look at that. I have noticed sometimes things don't show up here, and then they have them on the field.
Play! Blood Bowl!
So we'll check it out when they pop up on the field. So I'm an old Blood Bowl board game player. Played the Xbox 360 version of the previous game quite a lot as well, and then playing this and figure if I'm playing it, I might as well stream it. Eventually, I'll throw stuff up on my YouTube channel as well, and that's DisturbingPuppet as well. I think I only have the first game up so far, but I'll throw the other ones up at some point. I just didn't want to have stuff recorded and have it on Twitch and just disappear after a couple weeks. So that'll go up there on YouTube eventually. Chainsaw.
I can't understand what they're even doing on the same field.
In Kislev, it's freezing.
So stealing 2 of my rerolls.
Just to hop up and down on the spot.
So he's going to take the ball first. That's fine. That's what I would have chosen anyway. I typically like to get the ball in the second half. Gives me more of an opportunity to do what I want to do. Or at least have a chance to kind of make up any deficit I might have at that point. Just looking for my Dauntless and Mighty Blow guys to be on the front here. Dwarves are slow, so you kind of have to anticipate what your opponent's going to do with them. You have to take it into allowance. You don't want to overcommit to one side or the other. You're so slow to react. I mean, I do have the Hobgoblins there to help out. I've got the Bull Centaur as well, which I usually use to go after the ball carrier. But being down, a Bull Centaur is not super helpful. I'm going to put my less experienced Hobgoblins out on the field here, just so they have a chance to get some star player points, whether it's from fouling or anything else. They get possibility of having MVP rewards then if they played in the game. This is a fairly typical kind of setup for me. If I have the Bull Centaur, I have the other Dwarf kind of here in the middle, the other Bull Centaur on the side. With the Dwarves, it's fairly safe to have them right up on the front line. They've all got block and tackle, so it makes it a lot easier to kind of deal with opponents, not all of whom are going to have block. I've got guard with everybody, so that makes it really helpful for me. I'm going to have additional dice for most of my blocking rolls. He's going to have a hard time getting more than one die roll on my guys. I've got a guy deep in case things go bad. I've got someone here who can support. I've got these guys on the sides. So I've got some decent movement in addition to the dwarves. So we'll call that good. For kicking, I often do just go for the position that's marked, which is kind of the central position. If there's no one right around there who's really dangerous as far as catching the ball, it's fairly safe. What you want to do is just make sure the ball's in play, and they have to make die rolls to get it. There's always a chance they'll mess it up, have to burn a reroll, or have a turnover. Worst case scenario is it goes off the field, and your opponent can just, choose who it goes to, and they've got it to start with, no die rolls at all. It's really about maximizing the rolls your opponent has to make, so he'll screw something up. Let's see if he can pick it up. Yeah, no problem. Even with the rain. Good, no injury from the chainsaw. Last game I had a lot of really bad blocking die rolls, a lot of double attacker downs, like an unusual amount of double attacker downs, so hopefully I don't have that kind of luck this game. So with a bruiser team like this, it's always kind of safe to start blocking, doing some damage, generally, unless you're rolling bad. What you want to do is kind of the safe things first, though, things that don't require die rolls, movements, adjustments, that kind of thing. Then kind of important stuff. I'm just going to kind of hang up his guys here.
Close and personal, Bob.
You need to be close. So close they can smell your breath and see the dead insects in your teeth.
Yeah, we'll just start heading in, try to do some damage. We both have block. Yeah. No, he doesn't. What does he have? Nope. And I'll make a move on his runner, catcher. Since I've got guard, I've got all these assists here. The front line makes beating up his line pretty easy. Drop him where he's at. I want to kind of maintain the tackle zone here, coverage. It's a dangerous thing about the chainsaw guy. He's likely to injure himself. You can take him down. So like I said, leaving him here, that way I kind of have coverage with the tackle zones. So he has to at least make some rolls to get through. Of course, he can jump over and kind of see if he actually tries to take advantage of that. And I'll have my Mighty Blow guy throw the block here. No injury, though. And we'll follow this up. Move up and kind of hang up his other catcher here. So just kind of move over and sort of spacing things out. We still have the assists from the guard. I want to make sure I have as much coverage as I can with tackle zones, since I have the tackle skill as well. I'm in a position where I could possibly come over here and try to foul this blitzer. Armor's 8. Blitzer or the lineman are both targets I could foul if I wanted to. I think I can get more guys on the lineman here, though, if I wanted to. It's tempting. The hobgoblins have really good animation for the fouling. I just kind of like it. I'm just going to sort of move him up to kind of hang up this area as well, have another tackle zone. Same kind of here. I don't want him adjacent yet. I don't want him getting the block thrown at him. I just kind of want tackle zone coverage, guys in the area in case if something happens I might need to respond to.
Hey, I can sing. Did you know that, Jump?
God forbid now. Oh, really?
No need to be like that. My life coach says I have a very deep and healthy baritone.
We'll move him over here. And I'm actually going to leave him deep. We're not going to throw any blocks quite yet, or fouls quite yet. I mean, just going to see what he does and where he's going. Typically, the AI isn't that successful at scoring against me.
Gives him a safe progression.
I think I've only had 1 point against me so far in this whole season. Maybe 2. Yeah, he's trying to build a cage around the ball. Yeah, throwing a one-off dive block like that's really dangerous. I typically don't do that. AI does that quite a bit. It's very aggressive.
Smug for remaining upright. Pride comes before a fall. Up, up, and away.
Yeah, I'm just looking at beating up the guys in front of the ball carrier, get to the ball carrier. Let me take a quick look at the stream just to make sure everything's fine. Okay, everything's good. Somebody did actually put a comment in chat last time I was playing, and I didn't even notice it because I was so kind of engrossed in the game and playing. I have to kind of tab out to the game and look at the chat. So I'll try to do that occasionally. I hate missing a comment if someone throws it in there. I kind of feel bad about it.
This player likes to be well assisted in a fight.
This is only like my 4th stream that I've done. So I didn't actually play this entire campaign streaming, but I kind of figured if I'm playing, I might as well stream. See if people want to watch and enjoy. Try to give some tips for people who might be starting out. Kind of looking at where you want to move to and how. Things to think about. Doubling up on guys. With the fact that I have guard with so many people, I don't really have to be moving around to getting assists. It's very easy to get assists on here. But it's something you want to pay attention to. Is, you can pick a side of a line sometimes and get assists, and then work your way over, knocking guys down as you go. But with the guard that like I've got, it's really easy to just pound into these guys, take them out.
Jeremiah Cool always said superior skills prevail.
So just clear a path if I can to get closer to the ball carrier, cause him some problems, see what I can do about maybe getting access with my other players, my free dwarves I've got here.
Come on, guys, together.
You know, I'll follow this up so I'm adjacent to the ball carrier. Makes things more difficult for him. I'm going to move here so I have coverage, but I want an assist as I'm planning on blitzing here. Possibly throwing a foul on the blitzer who's down here. We'll go for the blitz here first.
Moved right next to a
Take
team.
down another guy adjacent to the ball carrier. Try to get closer to the ball. Just get a push.
He won't leave him alone anytime soon.
Trying to make things as difficult for him as possible. Get myself in a position where possibly next turn I can get that ball away from him. I'm going to leave him deep just in case. He has a possibility he could jump over, try to make dodges to get out, or try to get around to this guy running around. All things you have to kind of keep in mind and consider. It's not a bad idea to have somebody deep. It's just kind of an worst case scenario, so you have at least someone who has a chance to do something about it. It's really terrible if you have a position where you just can't even reach the person with the ball. You can't do anything. It's nice to at least have a chance at doing something. So I'm going to move him down here. Again, this gives me more tackle zone coverage between the two of them. It also has me in a position where if the ball comes loose, I can possibly get around behind. And really tempting to foul the blitzer here. I think I'd only get up to about a 50% chance, though, with the two of them on it. So I'm actually going to run him around, also sort of towards the back. So I have someone in a position that if the ball gets loose, I might have a couple angles to getting to the ball, or have someone who I can get the ball to, who can then run for the end zone. And I've got tackle zones here, 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 so I do have this guy generally covered. He could get up and move adjacent to somebody. He could blitz somebody. Probably would go for the hobgoblin, I would guess. Try to open a little bit of a seam there. Try to get the ball around. But we'll call that good. I do have the game audio turned down pretty good. Commentators drive some people nuts, so that's part of it. I also didn't want to be trying to shout over the sound of the game. So hopefully it's not too low, not too high.
Those players are very close. Smells like a fight is about to happen. This is going to be decisive.
Yeah, push is fine.
It's like peeling an onion. Remove the layers before you get to the good stuff.
Since I've got block, it does make me a little harder to take down, even if he's got 2 die on me. Okay, interesting. I figured he might try to make an opening on that side, going against the hobgoblin. Instead, he's going right for my line. So he's really trying to sort of slug it out with me, it looks like, which is probably not a good idea for him. I mean, I can even get this guy right here, could even just blitz right up and hit his ball carrier with an assist because of the guard. I don't even have to really do much else. I may just go ahead and do that just to see what happens. If I start throwing blocks, it's possible I could push somebody else down into a position that could make that more difficult. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
This could be fun, especially if the ball holder goes down.
Yeah, we get him down. I can't follow up, but that's alright. Let's see where the ball ends up. Okay, my Chaos Dwarf got it. That's actually not great. I was hoping to end up out here somewhere. I could grab with Hobgoblin, start moving towards the edge. So I guess we'll just try to clear some guys off my ball carrier.
Now that's a...
Sort of opening things up on the side, pushing those guys over.
Less pressure on the ball. Good move.
I do have a few guys here on my ball carrier, which is not great. Actually going to bring him down for an assist on the blitzer. I'll throw that later. It's not quite as important as stuff over here. So looking at my bull centaur here, throwing blocks. I can move in here if I go for it, throw a block this way. I do have sure feet, so it's not a major risk. Oh, I already blitzed him. Okay, never mind. Yeah, we'll move up here just for support.
They're building a cage around the ball here. It's a solid tactic.
I don't really like leaving my hobgoblins adjacent to guys. They're a little squishy. But I'll put them in matchups against the catchers, who aren't super tough either, just to kind of make it so he has less guys free that he can move for assists, things like that.
Is the assist going to be enough to come out on top?
And again, I still have my hobgoblin deep in case things go bad. I can throw a one-off die against these guys if I wanted to. It's not a terrible idea. I haven't used a reroll yet, so I still have one free in case things go bad. Yeah, I may do it just on the lineman here to kind of free things up.
Dodging out of the way rather than blocking the ball.
No, Jim.
And I'm actually going to stay right where I'm at.
That's always been mine.
So he certainly has a chance here that he could try to get the ball free from me. Let's see what he does. As you can see, I'm leaving most of his team on the ground.
Balls would struggle to dodge through that defensive lineup.
With a team like Dwarves, Chaos Dwarves, Undead, any kind of bruiser team, it's generally helpful to knock the guys down, do what damage you can, hopefully get some injuries.
That's it. Force them back and then pow!
He's putting an awful lot of guys on that one hobgoblin. And even more, I guess he's concerned about a possible receiver being further down the field. It's still a little unusual. Yeah, I mean, my ball carrier is pretty much free now. They're all just clustered up on my poor hobgoblin there, who's going to take a beating.
They're gathering around that lone player, like halflings round a sandwich.
So just throw some blocks,
That's annoyance to me.
knock his guys around, knock them down. See if I can open up the path. I don't think I've ever had any of my Chaos Dwarves score a touchdown. Blocking dice seem to be fairly with me this time, as opposed to my last game. I was playing Chaos last. They are pretty good at beating you up, even if you're another Bruiser team. So Bruiser versus Bruiser, Chaos might come out on top. Undead are kind of similar. The mummies are so dangerous that they can pretty much beat up anybody. Orcs have the black orcs with a 4 strength, but the mummies have a 5, so it's really difficult to deal with, especially like early on before you have any level ups. Nobody has any additional skills to really help deal with that.
Look at all those pets sitting down on the job. There'll be trouble with the unions if this carries on.
So let's see how far I can move with my little 4 movement. So this is a case where I could move as far as I can out, not supported. I could kind of hang out here or here where I have some support. This is probably the safest. Yeah, it's possible he could get around to him. I don't want to make things too easy. So the Bull Centaur, who can kind of move up to help block, protect my ball carrier, which at this point is kind of more what I'm focusing on, to sort of protect the ball carrier. And sort of move up just to hang up catcher here.
They've gone into the opponent's tackle zone. They should be good.
Could try to dodge out of here, but I'll do that last because of the chances of things going wrong. Just in case, I'll move Hobgoblin on up. So I think the rain... No, it doesn't affect dodging. Okay, just the ball. So 50% dodge. Yeah, we'll use a reroll. It's already halfway through the first half.
Let's see the player get out of that one bomb.
And I'll actually leave him there. I don't want to risk another roll without a reroll. And here he's in a position where he's hanging up this guy. He is making it difficult to get around. He does have to go kind of the long way around the tackle zones to get towards the ball carrier, so it's not a bad position to leave him in. So we'll just leave him there.
More the merrier.
Still going after my Hobgoblin.
This is going to be decisive.
He's on him now, like a halfling on a
Not a great spot to be, surrounded by opponents, but he's not rolling that well, so just pushing him around is fine.
with fists flailing. He's following up, hoping to get the knockdown next time.
He seems strangely focused on this Hobgoblin down here and sort of ignoring the guy who's got the ball. He's fairly agile, he's got the leap skill, he could be jumping over to try to get access to him, but he's not. So we'll just move him down as far as we can. Throw blocks where we can as well. I'm going to leave this dwarf here covering the blitzer. If he kind of ensures he probably won't get him up, he's on the edge. If he gets him up, he kind of needs to blitz to hit the guy to get him out of the way, or to try to dodge out of that position. If he's here and I'm directly adjacent and block him, I can push him off the field. So it's an automatic injury roll, and he's out until the next time that there's some kind of stoppage of play, so a touchdown, halftime, that kind of thing. Even if he doesn't get injured, he'll still be out for a while in the game. So I'm going to start from this end for blocks and things. I'm not quite sure. I possibly might blitz with him. May just hang somebody up with this guy. So I double attacker downs.
Scoring my first touchdown, Jim. You see, I just ripped the head off this kid. Changing rooms before the game. So just for fun.
So see how easy those turnovers can come if you don't have rerolls. Even if you're rolling 2 blocking dice, sometimes things can go very badly.
So I scored a touchdown.
So now I have this door free as well. So in this situation, I could look at having an assist and blitzing the blitzer here on the end.
Safety in numbers.
This player likes to be well assisted.
Just gotta see how long the blocking dice are with me. So I'll go ahead and move him up to assist. Planning on the blitz here. Go ahead and do it.
Haha, here's some friends. The attacker has an assist.
And I'll kind of move out on the edge,
The players arrive to assist their teammate.
sort of keeping the blitzer here potentially occupied. So I'm in a position here where it'd be pretty easy for this hobgoblin to foul this lineman, and I may just go ahead and do that. The only other thing I really do would be to may hang up a catcher. That's about it. I don't usually foul that much, but for some reason playing Chaos Dwarves, the hobgoblins just seem very appropriate for that.
Should they be stomping on the player's neck with a steady boost that hard?
That's not big. So yes.
Okay, just get a stun. I don't get taken off the field. There's a chance when you foul that the player that does the foul will get thrown out of the rest of the game. But if you got a good chance to injure a dangerous player, a treeman, an ogre, a troll, star player, I pretty much will take it if I can surround them. So this hobgoblin here might get pounded into the ground, but I don't know if he'll try to now refocus on the actual ball carrier. He's getting closer to the end zone.
I never could get the hang of this maneuver.
What's in my hobgoblin? Kind of surprising.
Parts of the stadium would collapse, killing many fans.
Throwing a straight up 1-die block. Always dangerous. I rarely ever do that. You can sort of do it with teams if you have a lot of skills. Oh, there's an actual leap, which he failed. I haven't actually seen the animation of a leap yet. And it's not very successful.
Sometimes you burn your wings and you fall right on your fat face.
And hurt himself.
References to ancient texts, are we, Bob?
Kind of entertaining. So with guys who are down, usually the first thing you do is get them up. If you're thinking about blitzing with them, you can. You have to declare it before you get the guys up. So you can still blitz with guys who start on the ground. So it's a possible blitz here I could do, but more likely I'd blitz here. So I'm thinking, yeah, just stand him up. I can't actually make it into the end zone without going for it, and I'm not going to risk it. Going for it rolls, it's only a 1 in 6 chance you're going to fail. That's a 1 on a d6, but I've seen it come up an awful lot in this game. Failing or going for it, reroll, fail it again. It actually seems almost like it's about a 50% chance of failure based on the number of times I've seen it in games, even though it's only supposed to be a 1 in 6 chance. So we're going to blitz. When you do this blocking, pay attention to the angle you come in at. If I come in from here, I can move him to these 3. Move him from here, I can move him to these 3. So opposite from where you're hitting him from. Sometimes that's very important, kind of paying attention to the angles you're going to move the guy to. You may not actually take him down. You might just get a push, and you might want to be careful at where you want him to be if you push him. So I'm even going to move up, blocking things even more for him to get access to the ball carrier. So I do have a couple dwarves free down here. Just move him over, sort of hang things up a little bit. Gives me an assist here. I don't want to completely leave these guys uncovered. They've got a route in to possibly get to the ball carrier. Probably not in time, though. But it's good to kind of be in practice and anticipate things, especially with a team that's such slow moving, as slow moving as the dwarves.
That thing is about to get punched above and below the belt at the same time.
Just want to make things as difficult for him as possible. So I do have this hobgoblin here I could throw a block with, which isn't a terrible idea. He doesn't have block. So it's not super dangerous if I've got a couple dice. And move around in a position where I'm blocking his access in the direction of the ball carrier first.
Is the assist going to be enough to come out on top?
Not going to follow up. Just want him down on the ground is fine. The hobgoblin here, if I leave him on the ground, he can foul him. If I get him up, he's going to block him. He might foul. I don't see the AI foul a whole lot. It might be safer to leave him on the ground than to take a block, since he is one of my experienced hobgoblins. If I get him up, he's hanging up these guys a lot more. So we'll just kind of stand him up and hope for the best. I'm not going to try to dodge out. Chances aren't super great. I don't have dodge, so it's a little risky. But we'll leave him in a position where he's hanging those guys up.
That's it. Get in their face.
So at least has to make die rolls to move in the direction of the ball carrier. So he's moving as far over as he can. Unfortunately, not getting him into the range of the ball carrier this turn. If I don't score, he could possibly get adjacent to my ball carrier next turn. So he goes for a single die roll block. Actually, gets him down, knocked out. It's okay. Last game I noticed this went away super fast. So I'm just going to kind of wait and see if it's actually going to count down the way it's supposed to. Yeah. Doing the same thing where it only counts down to about 8 and then disappears. It's supposed to give you the full count before you decide. So if you want to use your apothecary, you have to use them super quick. You only have about 4 or 5 seconds to decide. So before we go in here, I'll take a quick look at chat just to see. I got 3 viewers. Hello, 3 viewers. Thank you very much for watching. So this is one of those positions where I can score. I can score right away, I've got no problem, no danger, but I'm also a bruiser team, and I like to hurt people, and I get points from hurting people. So I could stall and kind of hang out where I'm at and beat people up for a little while. It's a little bit dangerous because he does have a lot of guys fairly close. They can get to me within a turn. So it's not a great option. Sometimes you can be in a position where you're far enough away that you've got a couple turns sort of free. Just in case, I do want to throw some blocks. I may score this turn. Just in case things go bad with the blocks, I want to have some assistance here. I'll do the same, hanging these up. So we're just going to do what blocks I can that I have an advantage at. See what I can do. Preferably trying to get some injuries for some star player points.
Unity is strength.
Yeah, I'm not going to follow that up. We want to stay here for a possible assist. Keep this guy hung up. So with my Hobgoblin, I can throw blocks at either one of these guys. Dangerous thing about the Blitzers is the jump up skill. So in case things go wrong, we'll sort of cover them from this angle. So I will go ahead and throw a block with my Hobgoblin here.
Come on, guys, together.
I'm going to stay where I'm at, which will give me the assist so that the Dwarf here can throw a block with 2 dice on this lineman.
The attacker has an assist.
They just got owned. That's what the cool kids are saying these days, isn't it?
I can use my Hobgoblin here with a couple dice on the catcher.
Is the assist going to be enough to come out on
Double
top?
attacker down again. So I'm in a position where I've got a turn to go. My opponent has 1 turn to go. I don't think my opponent can score in 1 turn. So I'll go ahead and score. He'll get the ball back, but he'll only have 1 turn to do something with it. Then I'll have a turn to react and beat up his guys. Pretty unlikely. Well, impossible for me, I think, with 1 turn to actually score. Faster teams, if they're set up well, can often score from a straight up start, maybe 2 turns. If they've done some preparation ahead of time, if they get the ball, they can score immediately. Teams like Skaven or passing teams like Wood Elves, High Elves.
Despite being in the lead, this team now has to kick the ball to the losing squad.
They'll want to get it back as soon as they can.
So I'm down nobody. The positioning seems to be fine, worked alright.
But it's so good while it's there.
He lost his chainsaw guy because of it being a forbidden item. I'm actually going to try to kick a little bit further back. So it's not right on the guys with the catchers right there. Just hoping it ends up in play. Yep, alright, that's fine. It's a pretty good positioning. So he really stacked up a lot of his guys right on the line here. So he's going to try to throw some blocks, I guess.
Failure that could cost his team dear.
Not up to much today.
A human player probably wouldn't have even tried to do that because they know they couldn't score in 1 turn. Why take the risk of having a turnover if he can throw some blocks instead? So kind of looking here at who do I want to hurt. I'm going to move him out, so I'll have an assist out here. So really I just have this turn to kind of throw some blocks, do some damage. Not really going to do much else. Getting some KOs here, it's nice. There's a chance they won't wake up after the half. So here I don't have 2 dice because this guy is kind of countering him. I have to have somebody covering him for him to have the 2 dice there, but I've got plenty of other players around I can do that with. I'm not doing things on this side really much, as I'm just kind of focusing on doing damage here. Blitz on this side, go after a catcher, see if we can hurt him. They have a little bit lower armor, so it's certainly possible. Yeah, there's no real obvious foul targets that I can get multiple guys on. These guys don't actually contribute towards a foul if I wanted to foul him because they do have someone adjacent to them. So I could possibly throw a foul on him. It's only a 58% chance though. And he's one of my better guys, so yeah. We'll call that good for the half. So I'm up 1-0 because I was able to get the ball away from him, and now I'll be receiving the ball. One of the advantages of... Oh, just knocked out guys. Don't get up. It's one of the advantages of kind of deferring that. If you are playing a fragile team... Oh, he's stealing my rerolls. If you are playing a fragile team, it's not a bad idea necessarily to go first, because the team that... receives the ball first, takes their action first. If you're kind of fragile, you might want to take that turn first so that you can try to hurt your opponent's tougher guys instead of getting hurt by them. So it's not a bad tactic. So I have to pay attention here about who is where exactly. As far as my hobgoblins, which ones are on the field, which ones aren't. And their positioning. Some of these default setups are a little strange. Kicking team does set up first, so I know this is his setup. So if you're receiving the ball, you also have that advantage, so you can see exactly what he's doing, provided there's no kind of kickoff roll that allows him to move or adjust his setup. So you can put yourself in a pretty good position So in this case, I've got my dodge and sure hands guys are quite useful out there. Kick return deep is always a good idea.
Indifferent, Jim. Ask me again when there's more blood on the field. Yeah.
So somebody with sure hands out here. Actually, I'll move him right to the line. It gives me a little bit more movement forward if I want it. He doesn't have anybody adjacent on the line. They're a little bit further back, so it's relatively safe. So I have kind of my more experienced hobgoblins on the field, including my kick return guy. With a kick return, it kind of makes it a bit safer just to have one guy deep. Another common thing you might do is to have hobgoblin here, so that no matter where it falls in the back, you have a hobgoblin or ghoul or whatever, depending on your team, that you can actually go for where the ball is. I'm kind of going a bit more front-loaded here with just the one in the back for the ball. I'm actually moving back one more just in case.
Have you tried that Cruxiade ball?
So there's always a possibility you could get the ball, get it to somebody kind of in the central, they can run it out, kind of go from there. We'll go with that. He does have a kicker, so he can kind of control where it ends up a little bit more. I have kickoff return. I'll move as close as I can. And we go from rain to just average nice weather. So no negatives for getting the ball or anything. So he does have quite a few guys sort of in the back here that he can adjust and move around with. With a more agile team, you typically want to put as few guys on the front line as you can, have you guys deep, covering areas for tackle zones or being able to respond with them. So speaking of where you want to hit from, I'm actually coming from this direction. I want to push his guys that way so I have more of a clear way towards the ball, get towards the end zone.
A beautiful fence.
So here we're just looking to hang him up on this side.
That's it. Get in their face.
With an agile team, you can kind of fake one direction, try to push your way up. If they then respond, you can then redirect to the other side and then move it up. With fast teams like Skaven or teams that can throw the ball well, that's always a good tactic. Bruiser teams, you're typically just going to kind of push your opponents away from the direction you want to go. You don't have quite so much choice as far as how you want to do it. You might have some faster players you can do something with. It's always not a bad idea to have the option to have something available further down the field that you can take advantage of if things go wrong. Mighty Below ends up in an injury. Take him out for the rest of the game. Move him out here. I'm just kind of making things more difficult. I'm planning to move up the side, so more dwarves kind of in this direction. And I'm even going to move him up here, even though it's 2 guys against 1. Just as a way to hang up a couple guys. I have more skills, I'm a little bit tougher, so it's not a super dangerous thing to do. Of course, I'll say that, then the guy get killed. Now, this guy does have a lot of skills and star player points already, so I don't necessarily want him to be the one that scores. Of my guys in the general area, this would be the one I'd really want. He's only 1 point away from leveling up and getting a second skill. So honestly, he's really who I want to get the ball in. So here, I'm actually just going to move adjacent just in case things go badly. He does have sure hands, so he has an automatic reroll if he fails the pickup. So it's not too likely. I'm not going to go for it or anything. I'm just going to hang out back here. And then as a possible distraction, I'm actually going to push him down as far as I can. The AI might go for at least trying to cover him with a guy or two. It's always not a bad idea if somebody is moving down here to either take them out or try to cover them. I'm in a position where I'd have to go for it once from here to make it into the end zones. Even if the ball gets to me, I could still score potentially in 1 turn. So it's always a good idea to have that as an option somewhere. Even if the opponent has the ball, you can sort of threaten, you might be able to get it away from him and then have someone in a position where you might be able to score. If you don't take that opportunity to have someone in that position, you may end up just having absolutely no chance that you can possibly score no matter what you do. Even if you get the ball away and get it, there's no one you can get the ball to from there to actually get in for a touchdown. So he's shifting some guys over. So in this case, yeah, he just gets a push on him. I'm not sure why he blitzed there. Could have just thrown a block. So he was hoping that if my guy got knocked down, he could move him around some more. So he's kind of moving some guys in the way. The center here is looking pretty wide open for me if I can get good blocks going. So I'm going to start with some blocks, try to open some stuff up if I can.
I think this player would rather be alone. Come on, guys, together!
So now I have this hobgoblin totally free as well, and there's not many guys around him.
They're gathering around that lone player, like halflings round a sandwich.
That player is about to get punched above and below the belt at the same time.
Just kind of doing what I can to take out his line.
He's coming to help his buddy. That's gonna hurt.
So I can run it in that direction. I can either keep the ball carrier with it, or I can try to hand off, or it's probably too far away to throw it to my other hobgoblin there. I don't think I've ever actually successfully passed the ball with my hobgoblins. And just keep throwing blocks, see what we can do.
That's a strike made with technique and precision.
So really you can see he just has 3 guys left standing on the field. Everybody else is knocked down. So I could run it right at him with a couple of guys, hobgoblins here. One carrying the ball, one sort of protecting. I could pull him back to have a 3rd hobgoblin protecting. I could try to shift way out here. Really kind of end up sort of in the middle. He does have the ability to jump over my line. So that could be dangerous. So let's see how far I can get with the ball carrier. Kind of go right for the middle. I can still shift either way later. I'm close to support. These guys here are starting off down, so they don't have a lot of mobility.
You know, I may actually say something witty and insightful soon. I'm just waiting for the players and the coach to do something.
I'm going to keep moving him down.
Please, just be interested.
So he might at least leave 1 or 2 guys trying to cover this hobgoblin just in case. Which makes things a little bit more free for me. And I'll move the hobgoblin on this side down a little bit just because. So we're in a pretty good position. I'm not in a rush to score or anything. If I can get some injuries in, I'm happy with that. More agile teams, you might want to try to score as fast as you can. If you can get the ball away from the opponent, it's a good way to get a lot of points for yourself. If you can't get the ball away from your opponent, then it doesn't do you a lot of good. You might want to try to keep the ball away from them as much as you can. So he did totally ignore my hobgoblin down deep here. A couple bad rolls for him because of my skills. Oh, and he gets injured. I don't know if I get a star player point for that, though. Since he was trying to block me. Oh, yeah, I do. Okay. It looks like he levels up, too. That's cool. It did seem like in this game, if you push someone into the crowd, you don't get the star player points for any injuries that result. So I wasn't sure if like they throw a block at you and you hurt them, if you get the star player points or not. That looks like you do. So here I'm just looking at possibly shifting out further this way. I've got dwarf free here I could do something with. Dwarf free here I can do something with. I don't really need to do anything. I've got the assists because of the guard skills here. So I'll use my Mighty Blow guy to throw a block here.
This player likes to be well assisted in the fight.
He's on him now, like a halfling on a hot dinner.
Again, just trying to throw some blocks to create openings, see what happens. The more agile team, you kind of want to plan things out a little bit more. You're not going to be throwing as many blocks, maybe just a few here and there where you can gang up on somebody.
He'll get an assist now.
So, creating an opening here for my ball carrier. Or I can even just leave him with all of my dwarves here as cover, protect him. So here I can just kind of run it through myself to here. I could run here and then try to hand off to the hobgoblin here, who can then go in. This Hobgoblin has even less star player points. Either one of them are fine for me, though. This guy will definitely get a level up if he scores, so I'm kind of more inclined to go with him. So we kind of use him to get as far as we can. The other Hobgoblin move up in a position to assist.
They just got. Ooh, hang on.
Oh, injured his blitzer. Nice.
That's why I love this game.
More star play points. I've had some games where I've whittled opposing teams down to just one or two guys left on the field. I don't usually would do that, against an actual human opponent, and especially not when you're playing the board game and you're playing your friends. You don't want to beat them up too much. You want to be sort of fair, give them a chance. You might take a turn or two to pound on them a little bit, maybe do some fouls, but it's to the point sometimes where they just can't do anything on their turn except roll over, stand their guy up, and then you knock them down again. So just kind of using him as a distraction, but we're moving him a little closer so in case things do go bad, he can support. He does have one guy free here who's going to cut up, this guy's going to get up, this guy's going to get up. So I'm not in much danger. He could get somebody on the ball, possibly, with his jump-up skills. So he's going 2 dice, and I get to choose what the results are. Almost never see a human opponent do that. Very, very dangerous. AI does it occasionally. Very aggressive sometimes with the blocks. Sometimes it's all you can do if you're playing against someone. And doing something's better than nothing. Although sometimes it's better just to have someone moved in a position where they're adjacent to the ball carrier, then definitely have to make dodge rolls to get away from them. So I'm just looking at clearing my way here if I can. So I could blitz with this guy, but unfortunately the angle he'd be coming in at, all I could push him to would sort of be out here. Get him there. I can use a Hobgoblin to blitz as well if I wanted to. I could block with the ball carrier if I wanted to. So just to kind of tie things up, try to do some safe things that don't require die rolls first. Just in case things do go bad, I'm going to sort of move my Bull Centaur down here. I don't think that's going to happen. But you never know.
He's coming to help his buddy. That's gonna hurt.
And like I said, I'm not in a rush. I would kind of like to beat these guys up, do some damage, hurt some people.
Come on, guys. Together.
Now I have another dwarf that's totally free.
Is the assist gonna be enough to come out on top?
That player went down like a sack of snortling unmentionables.
Yeah, we'll go for the blitz here and see what we can do.
Those players are very close. Sounds like a fight
3
is
dice.
about to happen. Little air for the ball carrier.
Move adjacent to his last remaining standing guy over there. Move the ball on down. Not going for it, not taking that risk. I do have some foul opportunities, possibly.
And personal, Bob.
Just doubling up down here, make things as difficult as possible for him to try to get to the ball carrier.
The dead insects in your teeth.
58%. Fouling, not great. Yeah, we'll just move in a position to support the ball carrier. So you can see at this point he's got two guys standing. If I can do enough damage, then I don't mind kind of quickly scoring, because I think I can then successfully get the ball away from him and score again, possibly. He's now doing some jumps.
Be so lyrical, Bob.
Interesting that he didn't really move anyone towards the ball carrier, though. Let's see how the blocks go. I might not even score this turn. I may not want to. Possibly foul opportunities, lots of blocking opportunities. Knockout. So a lot of the knockout guys may just recover, be right back on the field as soon as play stops. Keep throwing blocks. Gotta throw the blocks if you want to try to hurt somebody. Another KO. So mostly what I'm getting is KOs, though. Still not bad. I don't think I got any injuries on the Chaos team last time. Every time I knock somebody out, they come right back. As far as a foul target, this is who I'm looking at right here. He's the closest. This guy's not going to get up next turn. I've already got guys on him. I could put 3 hobgoblins on him. I will move just one step closer. Taunting, I guess. So 92% chance. Go for it. He needs some star player points. Get an injury. Whoa! Holy crap. Okay. I don't know if he has an apothecary or not. Okay, he's got one. Using him. He's not even hurt. I get sent off. I should get the star player points for the injury, I think. Didn't pop up on screen, but I would think so. The initial result was an injury, and then later it wasn't. I think that would still count for your star player points, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, you can see at this point he's got 3 guys on the field, and that's it. So I may not foul again. I'll throw some blocks first, and then I'll probably just go ahead and score. You can take a look at your opponent to kind of see where he's at. So 4 guys out for good for the game. A bunch of knocked out guys, they have a chance of recovering. At least throw the blocks and see what we can do. Double attacker down. That's why sometimes it's better to do the safe things first. So everybody's down, so I've got another potential foul target here. But I wouldn't really want to use either one of these guys to foul with. So, yeah, I'll just go ahead and score. There's enough turns left. He's got 3 turns. That's possible, enough time that he could score. I've got 2 turns. If I can get the ball away from him, I might be able to score with 2, but I don't think so. It's possible. I really have to move somebody down the field right away. Depends on how many of his guys recover, too. If most of his guys stayed knocked out, then... Let's see, knocked out. Oh, they all still knocked out. So I do have a good chance. He's going to be down quite a few players.
We're about to start the next down, and none of the KO'd players have woken up. Lazy gits. I'm tempted to go down there and help.
So I am kicking off the ball.
I'm worth at least 3 players. I could do with breaking a few necks.
So I'm just going to see who's on the field.
Possession is the key to winning. Must drive the coach crazy, as his team has just kicked it away.
I have kind of the less experienced guys. I'm not going to use him. It's fairly safe, but I don't want to take a risk of him getting hurt. How many guys does he have left? Just 4 guys he can put on the field. That's pretty sad. Again, I just want it to be... I want the ball to be on the field. I don't want it to go off, so I'm just going to start kicking for the center. So I can set up my team a different way if I want. Okay. Tie up his guys here a little bit. And then I'll move up to the edge so I'm a little closer, able to go after the ball. And I'm actually going to move him out on this side as well. Trying to make a beeline for the ball if he doesn't actually get it.
Thinking about what to have for lunch. Roast elf heart or baked halfling leg.
Scoops up the ball with ease.
Yeah, if I want to score, I really have to move this turn with my hobgoblins. So he shuffled everybody over there.
Now that's a holding maneuver, if ever I saw one.
Yeah, so I can reach the ball carrier with my bull centaur.
The players arrive to assist their teammate.
So we'll go ahead and do that. See what we can get going here. Be nice to get the ball free.
I love it when that happens.
Does he have dodge?
They can dislodge the ball. They're in with a chance of turning this match on its head.
I do have sure feet. I'm going to try to move adjacent to the ball. I had to use the sure feet there to actually succeed. I would have liked to be in this position. But I'm not going to risk it. Let's see how far away we are. You have to do everything with one player before you move on to the next. So that definitely is a factor. Really pushing it to get over here adjacent to the ball.
Now they must grab it.
Just hoping he doesn't get away from these guys. And I might be able to score. It's not super likely, but it's possible.
Got any strategy for the coach here, Bob?
Hit stuff.
Yeah, these one-off die rolls, really dangerous. That's why. Especially when I've got block and he doesn't. It's really dangerous to be doing that. But at least he went for the ball first. So he did the important thing first, then tried throwing crazy block. So I'm actually going to blitz here.
They'll need to get rid of the ball. Now they're
Try to get the ball free. No, that's bad. I can't even move in a position where I get another block on him. Well, I won't be able to score then. Can only blitz with one guy. Didn't get the ball free.
Two big goons that get together and fall on you.
So it does kind of leave me in a position where I'm just looking at throwing blocks and fouling for my last turn. Not much else I can do. If I could have gotten it free, I'd have a chance to score again. So I've got a possible foul opportunity on a catcher down here, or the lineman here. They're already looking at a 72% chance. I can't do anything else, because even if I move someone here because of his player who's up, counteracts anyone who's directly adjacent to them. They can't assist in the foul. But I could kind of pile up on this guy a little bit. You can only do one foul for a turn as well. So 72% chance either way. This guy already has quite a few skills. We'll use the Hobgoblin with no star player points yet. See if we can get injury with him.
5 gold pieces says he gets kicked in the face first.
And nothing. So that's my last turn. He'll have one turn to do stuff. No way he can score. I'm not even really bothering to do anything with these guys. He's going to blitz my guy. That was actually fairly successful. It's more than I thought he would do on his turn.
After that match, I need to
And that's it.
my undergarments. Take a while
Yeah, do your constant whatever somewhere else, Stinky.
That's alright. No star, no fan factor increase. Just delete the root play there. So you can see he only had 22 armor breaks against my 22. That's pretty one-sided. Ball possession, I had twice as much as him. Occupation. Neither one was a passing. Block succeeded 68. KOs inflicted 5. 3 injuries inflicted. 66 yards running. So he just got his MVP award. I got the MVP. Touchdown, touchdown, and injury, injury, injury. So you can see for the leaderboard, puts it up to 6 wins. Halflings were actually second, 5-1. Amazons 4-2, and then Necromantic 2-2. So the top 4 teams to be the ones going into the playoffs. Surprising the Halflings making it. Take a look at my team, leveling up and stuff.
It's said there is no safer place for your
I'll
money.
level up the Hobgoblin, see what we get.
Share the vault with the gold wizards.
I got doubles. I can pick anything I want. Or I can add movement. Actually, that's pretty good. He already has sure hands. The extra movement is quite nice. Armor I'm not that concerned with. I'll take the movement. And then with the Chaos Dwarf blocker. I haven't rolled doubles with any of them. You can get mutations on roll double. So I'm kind of hoping that happens at some point, especially since the mutations are modeled. So what do we want? Mighty Blow is probably the most tempting for me. Yeah, we'll go with that. Of course, now my team value keeps going up and up as guys level up. I've got enough money that the amount of money is affecting that as well. Only a little bit.
I'm looking forward to the next match, Joe. Time for some Blood Bowl.
So I did that. It's anything over 150,000 increases your team value. So this is only 10,000. So it basically is adding a coach assistant without actually increasing my team value any. So for the next game, everybody will be ready to go. I just have these two hobgoblins who don't have any star player points at all, haven't gotten level ups. So I'm going to take a look at the competition here. No, I'm crazy. This wasn't actually the last game of the regular season. I've got one more game for the regular season before we go to playoffs. Okay. I thought this was the last one for some reason. I wasn't paying attention, I guess. So next time will be the last game of the regular season, playing the Undead. Then we'll go into the playoffs. Okay. So that'll be it for today. We're just going to kind of go next time into that last game of the season. Then we'll worry about the playoffs, and depending on the day, I may do both of those playoff games. I'm assuming I'll probably make it into the final. And possibly do them both in the same day, put them up. But thanks very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I've been Disturbing Puppet. Eventually this will go up on YouTube as well. They're Disturbing Puppet. So thank you very much for watching, and I appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good day. Thanks.